Hello to all traders, again for another NFP here together today. I hope you're doing well wherever you are watching us from today. My name is Stavros Tousios. I am the market specialist at FXPRIMUS. Okay, welcome all of you to this free online educational webinar provided to you by the safest place to trade. Our webinar this month as well, again, is going to be on NFP and how to position yourself for NFP, okay, which basically means that we will go through a few things that could help you potentially understand the NFP workings and the NFP report and how you can use some tools that could help you position yourself for NFP, okay? So in a nutshell, we're going to see what tools and indicators one could use and how, okay, in order to support your trading decisions. Before we go ahead, I would of course have to read out to you our risk disclaimer. Please note that Forex trading and trading in other leveraged products involves a significant level of risk. It's not suitable for all investors. Trading in financial instruments may result in losses as well as profits, and your losses may be greater than your initial invested capital. Before undertaking any such transactions, you should ensure that you fully understand the risks involved in seeking independent advice if necessary. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information contained on this webinar or linked to from this webinar are provided as general market commentary and do not constitute investment advice. FXPRIMUS or its representatives do not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use or reliance on such information. Okay, the next page, this is actually what we're going to do today, okay? This is our agenda. So we will going to see the latest NFP results, okay? And how this has affected the US dollar against the euro. And not only against the euro, actually. We'll see what other parts of the report are actually important, okay? And it's not just the headline number, okay? It could be, for example, it could be an employment rate, it could be the average earnings, it could be anything else. And then we'll go through some risks that it would be good to consider for trading the NFP, okay? Furthermore, we'll also touch base on a couple of methods used to position yourself for NFP and go through an example of on live chart closer to the end of the presentation, okay? We'll look at a few ways for protecting your risk capital as well, okay, which is the most important topic for this for the NFP release. Okay, so please pay attention. You can take any notes if you want, write them down. If you have any questions, also write them down, and we can go through at the end of the session. Okay, I want this to be very helpful for you. Okay, and especially if you are beginners, please pay attention. Write down your questions and be patient. So we're gonna start right away. Okay, in the first slide, we're going to see the latest NFP results, okay? That was July's NFP, okay? And the reports were released on the 4th of August. I have included this slide because I want you to understand how important it is looking at the whole thing rather than just the headline number, okay? Most of the people do just trade the headline number, but we'll discuss later why this may not be very wise. There are other things that you should look at as well, okay? Now, note that these numbers come from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, okay? There are other important reports that you can look that come from other different sources, okay? And they're equally important. But we will look at those later, okay? So back to this slide. Last monthly report came out at 209,000 added jobs, okay? So 209,000 jobs were added to the labor force, okay? The unemployment rate decreased 0.9 or 1 point, okay? And the jobs that they were cut were 2.8 thousand less than the report in June, okay? Note that the jobs cut report is coming from, as I said, from a different resource. It's coming from challengergray.com. Okay, we will see that one later if you wish. Now, when employment change increases and unemployment rate decreases, this means that more people than expected found jobs, okay, and that less people are looking for work. However, please pay attention here. Understanding what the data tells you is very important, okay, especially if you trade the NFP after the report has been released. Most jobs added in the workforce came from low-income sectors and strongly the ones of the part-time basis. The part-time basis gained 349,000, while the full-time fell by 54,000. These individuals who have preferred full-time employment were working part-time because the hours had been cut back or because they were unable to find a full-time job. Okay, so a falling rate means that more people are employed, but they work much less hours and earn less. Hence the increase in the participation rate. Note the average weekly hours remained unchanged to 34.5 hours per week. July's ADP jobs growth came in for 178, worse than the 187 expected. The ADP report hit an impossible above expectations jobs report as the 9K increased the prospects of a positive NFP report. Okay, however, this shouldn't have been the case, as over the last year, ADP private payroll growth averaged above 200K. Okay, this estimate of the last month was the first one in a while that came out expected to be below 200K. And NFP showed amazing results. Investors have been losing confidence over the ADP reports as the divergence between these and the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it keeps widening. Okay, June's report, which was out a couple of days ago, was revised. June's report was also revised to 222K from 22K to 231K. Okay. However, the May's report was revised down from 152K to 145K. Now, June's report revised up from 138K to 152K, and June's revised up from 222K to 231K. Employment gains averaged 195K over the past 3 months. Okay. In August, the ADP report came out 237K, while the expectations were in for 185K. That is a 52K above expectations. Okay. On a different note, note that what we also need to pay attention is in what's happening in the U.S. economy. Okay. Note that the U.S. debt ceiling sent euro to the roof earlier this week. Okay. Despite both Yellen and Draghi did disappoint investors on the last Friday on the Jackson Hole, as they did not touch monetary policy. Euro broke the last high of 1.1913 technical resistance. Okay, fears over the debt ceiling as well as over the Harvey hurricane, which is happened over the past few days in the US, and a possible weakening of the US economy. This is what took the pair to highest level since last January 2015. The move occurred after a 3-week consolidation and could be the beginning of the next wave up in Euro's rally, as Euro is now trading above the 1.18 level, despite the positive US GDP and the positive ADP data on Wednesday, as inflation data yesterday were disappointing. Euro inflation data from the Eurozone came out positive yesterday as well. Okay, on this slide, we can see how the NFP release has affected the US dollar. Okay, first we will look at the euro dollar pair. This is what you see on the charts is the euro dollar. That is depicted on the chart. Okay, we see a down move, a few red candles on a positive NFP headline. Okay, which is expected. And then we know a retracement back to that would probably be something like back to the 50 Fibonacci level. Okay, now on the euro dollar pair, the average number of pips that the market moved on the euro dollar pair over the period of the past 8 months is about 75 pips. That includes the total move until the end of the day. Okay, now the last NFP moved euro down almost 140 pips. This is almost double the average, okay? Proving that the large divergence and investors' excitement over the good data from the US report. Now, note that 5 out of those times, or the NFP releases, the market ended up moving to the opposite direction of the headline number. And that was due to other reports having greater impact, while the first sudden move didn't move based on the headline number. Okay, this is what I mentioned earlier. The headline number is not the only thing that is important. This is why I'm focused on the previous results in the first slide. Okay, knowing what could influence investor sentiment is very important. So in July's report, the market did move to the direction of the headline number as it was expected. Now let's touch some base on to the risk. Okay, this is all the risk that you should be aware when you're thinking of trading the NFP. Okay, I know this may be becoming repetitive to some of you if you have joined and registered for a previous NFP webinar with us, but I can't tell you how important it is to remind you, even if you have watched it before, and more important to ensure that all new attendees are aware of those risks. Okay, so pay attention. Okay, the first one is volatility. Okay, few seconds before, during, and few seconds, maybe in a few minutes after the release. Okay, the volatility in the market is huge. Okay, I did mention on the euro dollar we saw a move until the end of the day of 75 pips. Okay, of the past 7 releases, actually 7 releases. This is close to daily volatility range. Okay, just in a few minutes. Okay, or in a few seconds actually. So you get the idea of the importance of the NFP. Okay, volatility, of course, could be what creates the opportunity. Okay, to enter potential trades, but at the same time, losses could also be substantial. Okay. Next up is the whipsaw. A whipsaw, in a few simple words, is a large price move. Okay, either bullish or bearish, that is followed by a very large price retracement, and then in continuation into the direction of the retracement. So imagine the headline comes positive, then the market is moving. If it was a euro dollar, the market would move down, and then imagine the market retracing all the way up and becoming positive for the euro dollar pair. Okay. This normally occurs when investors open trades based on the anticipation of the results, okay, or based just on the headline number, pretty much, okay, like we saw on the previous NFP, if you remember. Another risk traders should be aware of, it's the wide spreads added a little before, during, and a little after the release, okay. Spreads do increase up to 15-20 pips. It really depends, and this is due to the very immediate and sudden big moves in the price. Okay, the increase in spreads comes from the liquidity providers. Okay, because the market is moving so quick, they don't really know where the market is actually at the moment that an order is being filled. Okay, so they increase the spread to protect themselves. Okay, this also occurs because of the slippage, of course, okay, because there is some technological limitations there. Okay, it's the time basically taken to fill your order, and the volume of orders, of course, during the NFP, as you may as well know, they are huge because they attract a lot of investors, a lot of traders. Okay, now if one trades during the release, of course, all the above risks have a high probability of having a very great impact on the results, on your losses or on your gains. Okay, don't forget that you are starting with a loss already, with a big loss if you are starting with 15-20 pips away from your entry price. Okay, now obviously if you trade away from the release, okay, that could minimize those effects. Okay, volatility will be low, slippage will be low because there won't be many orders. The whipsaw effect is probably not going to appear. You know, so if one selects a currency as well that isn't too volatile, okay, or a currency that is either strong or weak against the dollar for the specific period of time, you know, that also minimizes some of the risk because the strong currency on a bad NFP data will have more strength against the dollar. Okay. Lastly, risk reward and sizing. Okay, using the appropriate size and the appropriate leverage, as well as calculating your entry and exit levels, could support you in ways you can't imagine, and you could potentially reach your risk-reward ratio goals. Okay, if you have any, but if you don't, you must always consider that, okay? Always have a risk to reward ratio and know how to size your trades. Now, okay, we'll go to some more interesting stuff. How to position yourself for NFP. Okay, there is two different methods I'm familiar with. One is based on the fundamentals and the other one is based on the technicals. Okay, the fundamental method allows you to position yourself before the release, okay, and it's based on financial models, a lot of calculations, and or it could allow you to position yourself after during the release, okay, which basically means trading the headline number. Okay. On the other hand, the technical method allows you to position yourself during the release, where you could potentially identify your entry and your exit points, and also it gives you the ability to trade after the NFP, okay, where you could trade either the continuation or the exhaustion in the price on a particular pair. Okay, let's see those one by one. Okay, using the fundamental methods before the release, one could identify opportunities based on models, okay, and financial models. So building a model is not as hard, okay. Here's what one could do. You can create an average of the previous NFPs or the unemployment rates or the jobless claim. Okay, for example, take the 8 simple moving average. By adding up, you can add up all the previous 8 headline numbers, okay, and you have an estimate for that. Okay, it's as simple. You can look in the previous purchase managing index reports and anything actually involving employment figures. Okay, you can find the votes for the forecast by using different websites. You can watch the ADP report, okay, and that was due on Wednesday, and it was actually positive, okay. But as I said earlier, you know, remember that there has been a very big divergence between the ADP private payrolls and the Nfp results, okay, and it has been widening, okay. So we also had the unemployment claims report too yesterday. Don't forget about this. Okay, yeah, so you can find also here the Challenger report, which is basically, it tells you how many jobs were cut. Okay, and here's the link, you can use it, challengergrade.com. Now onto the next slide. Position yourself during the release. Okay, this is pretty much trading the headline, as I said earlier. Okay, and is you know, setting entry and exit levels based on the average numbers calculated, okay, previously. So one could look at the deviation between the actual and the expected numbers and the previous numbers in, you know, with a name to identify possible entry and possible exit points. For example, June's NFP, the deviation is a positive 26K, okay? So assuming this 26K is an average, if August NFP comes out 26K better or worse, there are chances that the market move, okay, so the fluctuation will be the same as the July's NFP in terms of pips always, okay? Now, if you add the revision number, of course, that would also make the estimate more accurate, more efficient, okay? Now, let's see how to position yourself during the release using the technical methods. Here you could identify exits and entry levels with the use of drawing support and resistance levels, okay? Fibonacci retracement or extension, drawing trend lines, okay? I assume everyone can draw a support or resistance here, okay? On this slide, we see July's NFP, the latest one, okay? In red, you see the support level, a break of which could be an entry, okay? This is the previous low, basically. And a reach of the any Fibonacci level, the 38.2, the 50, the 61.8, could be an exit, okay? For exits, one could also use the RSI, you just can see at the bottom of the right side of this slide, or any other indicators, and what you want to look for is overbought or oversold levels as an exit, okay? Now, in the second technical method, one could use pretty much the same tools as before, okay? Support, resistance, trend lines, Fibonacci's, they are great for any trading style pretty much, okay? The only difference is with that method that the timing of the possible entry is different, okay? This entry is after the NFP release, okay? This is considered to be the safest method when you're trading, of course, because the safest is not to trade it. Compared to the other methods, this is the safest, okay? And you position yourself for NFP as you're moving away from high volatility, high spread, and the high chances of incurring some slippage, or even the whipsaw effect. Okay, I mentioned these earlier. They are very important risks. Okay, on the risk slide. So when you enter, the market is very, very, very important. Okay, so with this method, you could enter on a reversal candle created couple of hours after the release, as price also moved above the 23, above the 50, right, above the 23.6 Fibonacci, and then exit at the 50 Fibonacci level, or at the middle Bollinger. I don't have the Bollinger Band here drawn, but we can see that live in a minute. So the break above even the 70 Fibonacci RSI level could be also a confirmation. Okay. Now, finishing the method, let's look at how one could potentially find the right pair to trade. Okay. We all know that the most tradable pairs are euro dollar, dollar yen, pound dollar, dollar CAD, and gold. Okay, we all know this. Okay. However, there's a way to find the most appropriate pair one could trade for the common NFP by using the economic calendar, having a look at the dollar index, and by checking the currency's performance. Okay, so how they have performed against one another. Okay, on the calendar, you could use important events and reports that have already occurred. Okay, over the past few days or weeks, and check what effect those had on their respective currencies. For example, FOMC, rate decisions, GDP releases, and any other reports. Taking the Bank of England decision to keep rates unchanged, for example, okay, that took the pound 100 pips lower. That was last month. Okay, that was the biggest daily drop since the flash crash. Okay. You can check also the dollar index because it measures the strength of the US dollar against all the majors. Okay, so its performance may give you a hint about how strong the dollar is. Okay, also checking the news. We do know that over the past few days, dollar hasn't been that strong. Okay, but yesterday it did gain some momentum, positive momentum. So it's important to know that stuff. Other observations, okay, may help. Okay, euro against dollar, for example, hit a 2.5-year high recently. Okay, it did, and in the index, the dollar hit a 15-month low. So actually, if you look at the dollar yen, it has fallen almost 6% since last year. Okay, but the euro has gained against the dollar 13%. Okay, last and more important, finding which pair could be the most suitable comes under one simple to-do thing. Okay, check the performance of the pairs. Okay, so you can go to investing.com and check the rates, see the performance on the table, and you may find which pair to position yourself with. Okay, mainly the weekly and monthly indicators are good. Okay, let's see now how to protect your capital. One way is to actually not trade at all. Okay, stay completely out, because as we said earlier, volatility is huge, slippage is big, the whipsaw effect is possible. Okay, it may be just better if you stayed out, and especially if you are new. Okay, on the other way, that could one other way that could help you protect your capital is setting appropriate stop losses and take profit levels. Okay, ahead of the NFP. Okay, instead of just looking at your charts and you open a trade and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to close when I'm going to get $100 or $200, and then this is a mistake, because greed or fear will take over and you end up losing most of the times. Setting stop loss and take profit levels removes the emotional aspects of trading. Okay, as well as setting pairing orders. And note, when I say appropriate, okay, appropriate means for a trader, it means about 1% of your account. Okay, this could be a very good stop loss. Okay, so in case you have any open trades, you may look at either closing your positions or hedge. Okay, closing your positions, of course, You may have to take a small profit or a small loss or a big profit, you never know, in order to avoid the risk of the high volatility. Okay. Lastly, hedging. In case you have open trades, it may help you reduce your losses and hence protect your capital. Okay. Note that I'm going to say this again, staying out if you're new is the safest way to protect your capital. Okay. Okay, so we'll have 5 minutes to the NFP. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to open my charts. Okay. And I'm going to go through quickly, just draw some support, some resistances, and some Fibonacci's. Okay, let's close gold, oil. Let's just keep those two open. Okay, euro dollar and dollar yen. Okay, as you have seen, I have drawn a couple of lines here on the recent low and recent high on the dollar yen. Okay, let's do the same on the euro dollar. We have already, if you look at it in the 1 hour chart, we have already drawn our Fibonacci levels here. Okay, this is where exactly actually dollar yen is right now, on the 23.6 Fibonacci level. Euro dollar on the other side is just above the 50 Fibonacci level. Okay, but what we want to do is look at the 15-minute because we can see the recent lows and recent highs in a better perspective. Okay, so here's one potential level. This is the recent high. Okay, this is another recent high. Okay, this is another recent low, and this is another one. Okay, you don't really need any indicators or anything. It's as simple as that. And you have your Fibonacci levels, and you have drawn your support and resistances. Okay, we'll have done the same for dollar yen. Okay, and we'll have also an RSI there. The RSI on the euro dollar, okay, we see some bullish move already here. Okay, we see that over the past 2 hours or so, euro has gained a lot of momentum. Bullish, there is a bullish bias. Okay, and it may even go above this level. So what we could, oops, one second. What we could do in this case is have a look at that. Okay. What we can see is that the next level is the 38.2 Fibonacci. Okay, so we'll have another line drawn there. Select that and make it a bit smaller. Okay, and as I said, the 75 pips were average. Okay, so what this distance is from there, for example, okay, this is of 15 pips only. Okay, this is 14 pips. Okay, we're talking about 75 at the end of the day. Okay. So on the dollar yen, those levels seem to be okay. Okay, if we just have a look how many pips this is from the recent low, it's about 13 pips. Okay. Okay, we can notice here that there is the RSI, the 9 RSI is actually, right, it's a bit faster. We can change that to 14. Okay. If you wish, it's really up to you. The 14 is exactly right at the 70 level. Okay, but we do see an up move on the euro already. Okay. So normally what happens normally is we will see the market being very quiet before the NFP release, and over the past, for the last hour, for the last 2 hours or so, but we haven't seen that on the euro dollar this day, which is very rare, okay, because we have seen an up move. And now we see some fluctuations because they are trying to set the direction ahead of the release. Okay. What we can do as well is we can open a new window here, and we can go and have a look at the results when they come out. Okay. So look at this. They're pushing down already on euro dollar. So the results, we appear, where are we here? So we appear non-farm payrolls. The expectations are 180, as we said before. The previous results though was 200,009, and it was revised from what I remember. So we start seeing some bigger fluctuations right now. And there we go. So 156. This is way below what it was expected, way below the average. Not too far though. And we see the dollar yen breaking down. Euro dollar is going up, is at 119.6. It will probably go to 20 until the end of the day today. When you are looking at round numbers with zeros, 120, 130, normally you would expect the price to attract those. You expect those levels to attract the price, especially when they're going towards them with strength. Okay, they would either break or retrace. It depends. The 120 is a great psychological level, for example. Okay, normally what we can see, what we observe, is that they are, they are hitting. They are hit. These levels are reached many times. Okay, and the more times actually they are reached, the stronger they become. Okay, this is the fundamentals of a support and a resistance, pretty much. Okay. Now, look at those levels that those lines we have drawn earlier, and look at how the price is actually piercing through those levels. Okay, 19.7. Let's take that a little bit lower so we can see clear. So what we notice, we see the non-farm is lower. Okay, so less people were employed. The average weekly hours came out lower. The average hourly earnings, okay, came lower. The average hourly earnings on a monthly basis, yearly as well, they are lower, and the unemployment rate came down lower. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things. They are all negative for the US economy. Okay, so this is the reason we see a down move as big. Okay, and this is why there's no whipsaw. Okay, if we would have seen, for example, a positive non-farm payroll, okay, let's say 200K, and the rest of the reports were this, what we'll probably see is we'll probably see the dollar go up first and then go retrace down. That would be the whipsaw. Okay. Now note that the euro has been upsurge over the past, I don't know, since, look at this, the lowest low that was back 6 months ago, actually at the beginning of the year. Okay, so it's been going up for a period of 7 months, 8 months, 9 months. Okay, if you look at it. Okay, now I don't think there is anything else to see here. I will leave those charts there, so we can watch the action, and at the same time I can start taking any questions, guys. Okay, I only see one question right here for now. So is it a good idea, Casey Rivera, is it a good idea to buy stop and sell stop 15 plus pips or above on the current price? I can't really give any recommendations on your question, I'm afraid, Casey. But don't forget that the slippage, the high spreads from brokers and liquidity providers will be quite significant for your trades. Okay. You're welcome. Just remember, guys, that the normal moves until the end of the day are about an average, right? Over the past 7 reports, it's been until the end of the day around 75 pips. Okay. Dollar yen seems to be heading down with much force. Let's see what's happening in the other pairs. Let's have a quick look. Pound, dollar. This is 60 pips. Aussie dollar, that looks big. About 60 pips. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is going for a new low. This is a new record. Multi-year record for dollar CAD. We'll go back there. As 21st of the 6th, 2015, more than 2 years, more than 2 years low on the dollar CAD. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Now is the time. Let's have a look at the New Zealandian. That looks a bit smaller. We're talking about 45 pips. Let's go on gold. Gold moved up about $9. Okay, it's not bad. The oil. The oil seems to be confused. And the DAX, of course, should be down as well. Okay, the DAX, I mean the index, sorry, it's 50 pips as well. On other crosses as well, nothing there. So let's go back to euro dollar on the 30-minute chart. There we go. When is the best time to enter? I've just explained that there is 3 different ways, okay? And also it depends what exactly do you define as best time, because the best should be, you know, something that actually suits to your goals, okay? The safest entry is after the Nfp results. Once the market has been sort of calmed down, okay, and the moves are not as volatile, but they are pretty much clear, you know, and there is no added slippage, there is no added volatility, there is no added spread. Okay, so the best I would equal to the safest time to enter a trade, right? But when we're talking about safest, then you're looking at your account. Then it would not, if you are new, the best safest way would be to stay out, demo it for a while, you know, make sure you make consistent profits, and then you can test in live markets. Now we'll look at what's happening in both euro dollar and dollar yen. The price is retracing. Okay. Is it good, Farid Johari, is it good if we place a buy sell stop together with take profit stop loss? You mean, I'm not sure I understand the question. Is it good if we place a buy sell stop together with take profit and stop loss? Are you talking about if you have a pending order, we place at a certain level? So if you have a pending order, you know, I mean, any trade you place, right, is always good to have a take profit and a stop level. Why? Because it takes away the emotion, plus it won't make you change your original thinking of that opportunity that was presented from the market to you. Okay, does this make sense? Okay. I see quite a few people still in here live. Do you guys have any questions? Guys, I will wait for a few more minutes, and if there is no any more questions, then is it good to trade during NFP? It's very risky to trade during the NFP. As I explained to earlier quite a few times, the reasons are high volatility, high spreads, high slippage, the effect of the whipsaw. Actually, we see on the euro dollar the effect of a whipsaw. We can't really figure out why this is happening, but this is what is happening actually during the NFP. So imagine if you opened a trade right now on euro dollar and you were in the money, and you are in the money for something like 50 pips up, 50 pips in, right? So if you entered here, let's say you would be 50 pips up, right? And you wouldn't have a stop loss or take profit level. So then you would have lost everything you just gained, right? So it doesn't really make sense trading this or having no stop losses. You have to have a take profit and stop loss level. You go in and you go out quick. Of course, if you know, right? This is why we're here. We're trying to educate you for free. And please make sure you are not going in the markets without prior knowledge or experience, okay? Would it be a good idea to place a sell at the highest level the price reaches in euro dollar? I wouldn't say so, because you are trying to trade against the majority of what everybody is actually trading. Okay, plus it wouldn't be easy to identify what the highest level would be. Okay, and the price moves as well, the fluctuations are very, very, very speedy, very quick. Okay, so I wouldn't really say it is a good idea. You could gain some pips, but it depends. If you want to get 5-10 pips, then it's not too hard on the NFP. But the thing is, if you don't set take profit and stop loss levels, it's not going to happen. Redisheti Rao, is there any source in the market wherefrom we can predict the figures of NFP? The figures, any source in the market? Okay, you could look at the previous results. Okay, you could by just going on. You could go at our website, for example, go onto the economic calendar. Okay, Radisheti, and you go on filters. Okay, you can click none here and then go to United States, put that the central bank employment. Okay, there you go, and go start date. Let's just pick January. Let's just pick December, the 1st of December 2016 until today. Okay, let's go the second. So you click filter results, and you can see all the previous results on the NFP. Okay, Radisheti Rao, this is what you could do by taking the previous the expectations, right, and the actual results, put it in a nice sheet, right, and write whether the market went with the headline number or not, right? It's something like as explained that I did earlier, okay, for the predictions. You can't really predict whether it's going to go up or high. The best way is to look at the market, look at all, okay. Let's just look at this week. Okay, I'm sorry, 1 second. Let's just take all the filters out. All the filters. That's in, okay. That's all, that's correct. Okay, we'll have date, let's just go back, for example, till May. Okay, we hit filter. What we will see all the important results, okay? So Friday, September, here's what happened, okay? On Thursday 31st, yesterday, we had the core personal consumption expenditure. This is inflation data, okay? And the inflation data that came out yesterday, they weren't too good, okay? The GDP here, US again, that was positive, okay? And the results of the NFP were negative. But mind that this is for the month of August and caps out in September, right? Then the GDP is actually the results coming out after a few months, in terms not when they're released, but in terms of the results, we see the impact of something that has happened a few months ago, for example, today, okay? And another way is to go to BLS, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, right? And you can read the important results, the important reports they have actually identified here, right? So unemployment rate changes, they are the ones that they have actually released this report. Okay, now let's go to the next. There is ISM coming. This may affect the dollar. Yes, of course, it will affect the dollar. The ISM, I think this is in a few hours or so. It will affect the dollar, but it won't be with an effect that a normal ISM should have. Okay. It does also have the ISM report has a report, an employment report with it, right, for the ISM manufacturing. So if that is obviously not good for the dollar, then it would actually add more pressure to the dollar. Let's go to the next question. Giovanni Scholz, what do you think will happen with Euro USD? This is a very general question. You mean what will happen now or what will happen in the future? What will happen as we're looking at it? Look at this. Look at the exact on the dollar yen. Look at where exactly the price have stopped. Okay, on the 38.2 Fibonacci. Giovanni, please ask your question again, because this is a very general question. What will happen with Euro USD? NFP is one of the fundamental market mover. Is it after fundamental movement? It will be back to technical analysis. Farid, it's not fundamental movement. It will be back to technical analysis. Farid, I don't really understand what you're asking, but just to give you from what I understand, technical analysis does work on fundamentals, yes, of course. And the fundamentals are part of the technical analysis in the longer term. Okay. Many thanks. You're welcome. Dante Navarro, NFP manufacturing prices. Yes. What about manufacturing prices? What is the significance of Euro USD going down right now? You mean the chances or the significance? Well, euro dollar is actually, this is what is happening now. Okay. Look at this. This is the whipsaw effect. We didn't see it in the first 5-10 minutes, but we start seeing it now, okay, after 15 minutes. This is a whipsaw effect, right? So as you see, Ramchandran, the euro dollar is moving right now, downwards, okay? As in now, Giovanni, okay, well, as we see, it's going down, okay? And this is why I explained earlier that it's very tricky to trade the NFP, because you never know, despite the headline numbers, what's going to happen. The headline numbers may help you to get a couple of pips, 10, 20 pips, and that will be it. If you are quick enough and you have experience and you know how to set your stop losses and take profit levels, and you do that before you trade as a pending order, then you have some, you could be making some profits, but at the same time you could be also losing. Okay. Thank you for the explanation. You're welcome. Do you think it is heading long or the trend will reverse? If you're talking about long, do you think it's heading long or the trend will reverse? Well, Giovanni, it seems that is creating a huge pin bar right now, dollar yen on the hourly candle. Okay, it went up to 19.9, 119.9, right? There you go, almost 99, 19.8, and which is considered to be a psychological level, or is it considered to be this level? So that could be, you could say that is some weird pattern. Okay, but well, hold on a second. We took the Fibonacci out earlier. Let's put it back in. Okay, so Fibonacci would go from there to there. Okay, so next question. NFP is one of the fundamental markets. Is it after fundamental movement? It will be back to technical analysis. We have asked that before. I don't know why it's still there. Farid, thank you. You're welcome. Because it looks like a hammer is closing at the 1 hour mark. Okay, yes. Well, this is definitely so far, because we still have 9 minutes to the end of the hour. Okay. This is definitely, if it goes below down here, it will be a pin bar, right? Now, it looks like a very sort of a bullish move up here, right? And then we have a doji. When the price closes at the same level as the opening, but we still have 9 minutes. Okay, Giovanni. Okay, thank you, welcome. Yes, it is a pin bar, not a hammer. Okay, guys, any more questions to take? Are we all clear on all the explanations? Has the webinar helped you at all? Yes, okay. Richetti, Farid, Giovanni, Ramchandran, thank you. This is the purpose of the webinar, okay, is to help you maybe understand, or maybe to get some knowledge, get some sort of idea of what is really happening with the NFP, okay? Because I know I was in a place where you were a few years back, okay? What you will find online, there will be a strategy, there will be someone saying something different than the other, and then you just get confused. You just get so many different things you read online, which are free, of course, yes, but they tend to confuse and create a brain fog, okay? So having this coming from someone with experience, we hoped that it would help, and it will give you a different perspective of the NFP and the risks of trading the NFP, of course, okay? Now, also don't forget, I know that, we are people, so in case you have something in mind and you haven't asked, or you have something in mind that something comes in mind at a later stage, this is my email here, okay, stavros.tousios@fxprimus.com. Please feel free to send me an email with any questions, okay? Just title it as a free educational NFP webinar, so I can sort of prioritize them somehow, so I can answer them back to you, for you. So send me an email with any questions regarding NFP, regarding anything that has to do with the Forex market. Actually, if you're wondering about something in the Forex or anything, just, I'd rather just spend a few minutes, get back with you, rather than you go with sort of blindfolded, okay? What's the effect on the NFP on other currencies? Crosses. All the currencies are affected with the NFP because it's the biggest. Samia is the biggest event that is happening on the markets on a monthly basis. First Friday of every month. Okay, for the previous month is the employment report from the US, biggest economy in the world. So it does affect all the currencies. Okay. And there is some ways of trading across currencies as well, obviously, but the gains or the losses there are with a more minimum effect because the volatility, it can't be as high as on pairs that they do have base or counter currency, the US dollar. Can I have your PowerPoint slides show? Georg, this webinar is recorded and it will go online on our educational section. Okay, so feel free to go there and watch it. It will be up there in a few days. Okay, so you can go on FXPRIMUS education. Okay, you can find my reports. Okay, you can find my reports here. Okay, and the educational webinars. Okay, have a look at those if you wish. It explains in a very few minutes, 3-4 minutes, what is Bollinger Bands, what is moving average, what is support and resistance, and there's also some webinars in there. Okay, you can feel free to have a look at those, and then also this webinar is recorded and it will be on there online. Okay. Okay, you're welcome. Any more questions, guys? Are we all clear about the risks and how important it is to remember those before you're going ahead? I will wait 1 more minute just in case anyone has any more questions, and then I'm going to log out. And as I said earlier, I remind you, this is my email address appearing on the slides. Feel free to send me an email with anything related to the Forex market. Okay. Feel free also to visit our website. You can find educational videos there, free. Okay. And there is also courses you can take on our website online for the Forex market. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Okay, note that in case your questions, you have any questions that they just popped up at some point later and you have just remembered something, send me an email. Otherwise, Roddy Shetty, thank you very much as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enrolling to this webinar. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. You can keep an eye on your either SMS or your emails for our next webinar, which will probably be again for the NFP. And if you have any questions, just send them to me. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching and have a good day.